you. You're watching Times Now Live. I'm Pratibha. Let's begin with some breaking news now coming in. Politics speaking over Rishi Sunak becoming the UK Prime Minister. BJP slamming Mehbooba Mufti over the minority jibe that she took after the PDP chief raised the minority rights issue. The BJP has now fact-checked Mehbooba Mufti. The BJP responding by saying India had 3 Muslim and 1 Sikh president. Sikh was also the Prime Minister for 10 years. Don't need to learn inclusivity from others. That's a response coming in from the BJP after Mehbooba Mufti had taken to Twitter. And Pradeep Datta joining us live with the details on that. Pradeep, just hours and minutes after Rishi Sunak was announced as the UK Prime Minister, Mehbooba Mufti had taken to Twitter criticizing the BJP. Now, BJP has hit back, not with words, with facts that the party has put forward.
Ever since, in fact, Mehbooba Mufti has been booted out of power, she leaves hardly any stone unturned to target a government. And this is once again, she's trying to hit below the belt. But the reality is that the Indian inclusive society, if one need not take lessons of pluralism or heterogeneous composite culture from India. If anybody has failed to do something for the minorities, that has been the PDP government, because she has never ever spoken for Kashmiri Pandits. She has always been seen beating her chest for terrorists like Yasin Malik, because she wanted people like Yasin Malik should be released. And she never ever spoke against any other terrorists. She never ever spoke against stone pelters. But she never ever came out openly in support of Kashmiri Pandits. Every time she wanted that there should be a dialogue with Pakistan. That's one of the reasons that BJP has hit out at Mehbooba Mufti. We need not take lessons from you, because India is a country where we had Chief of Army Staff had been from the minority community. There had been twice we have seen the Sikh becoming the Chief of Army Staff. We have seen the President of India was a Muslim. President was Sikh also, from other communities also, and from backward classes also. Already we have seen that right now the Mormo is the President of the country. So we do not take lesson. Yes, if we talk about Rishi Sunak, no doubt he has created a history, because reason being their people have...
Okay, all right, Pradeep, do stay on with us. We have Mr. Amit Malviya on the phone line with us. Mr. Malviya, the Congress party, the PDP has all been, talking about Rishi Sunak's rise to the UK Prime Minister's post by saying that India has lessons to learn.
Well, India needs no lessons on inclusivity and diversity from any other country. We are a country who has put a tribal woman as the president of the country. We've had 3 Muslim presidents. We've had a Sikh as a prime minister. We've had Fatima Bibi as the Supreme Court judge, who later went on to become the governor of Tamil Nadu. We've had several people in the armed forces, including Abdul Hamid, who the country has honored with the highest military honor of Paramveer Chakra. So it is only a party which is suffering from huge inferiority complex that would talk about America or the United Kingdom as an example for India, because we are far ahead. And I want to tell Mehbooba Mufti, if she believes so much in empowering the ethnic communities, the minorities, then would she back a Hindu as the chief minister of J&K, a state that has seen genocide of the Hindus under the watch of her party and her father, and then subsequently under her as the chief minister?
Absolutely. In fact, that's a question coming in from the BJP. Do you expect Mehbooba Mufti to respond to that? Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad has also taken to Twitter to say, will you accept a minority in Jammu and Kashmir as the chief minister of the state, asking and imploring Mehbooba Mufti to respond?
That's exactly. You need to walk the talk. You just can't make these vague, pointless, superficial political statements without realizing the depth and power of your own country, the strength of your own country, the diversity and inclusivity of your own country. I mean, we're a country with 80% Hindu population. We are tolerant, we are assimilating, we are people who take people of all faith along. We're not the kinds who believe in excluding people from the social order. And that is what is the strength of India. And people who do not realize this deep-rooted Indic or dharmic civilizational value will only talk about, learning from Britain, or for that matter, the United States, who have been colonizers for the longest time. Britain certainly has been.
That's right. So she's ignoring the pluralism in our country while, preaching to India. But why do you think such a response has come from Mehbooba Mufti and several quarters from the Congress party as well? Top leaders of the Congress party, P. Chidambaram, Shashi Tharoor, have also said that India has lessons to learn. So why do you think the political leaders are making such statements, knowing very well about the kind of prime ministers and presidents, the diverse kind of, presidents and prime ministers that we have had in the country?
You see, the problem with Congress is that it suffers from huge inferiority complex. They forget that Sonia Gandhi is a Roman Catholic of Italian origin who has been heading their party for the longest time. She was somebody who sat as the president of NAC and was a super prime minister of India for 10 years. And at the same time, you had a Sikh prime minister who was born in undivided Pakistan and later went on to head the country here in India. And he was sewn into the office by none other than APJ Abdul Kalam Azad, who was a Muslim president appointed by the NDA regime.
Absolutely.
So at one point in time, you had a Roman Catholic of Italian origin.
I just want to also, hear from a PDP point of view. Mr. Malviya, I request you to stay on with us. Mohit Bhan of the PDP also joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Mohit Bhan, why has Mehbooba Mufti made a statement deliberately leaving out the truth from what the case is? The BJP now responding and asking Mehbooba Mufti, will you accept a minority in Jammu and Kashmir as the chief minister of the state? What is the PDP's response?
It was you are written.
All right, we seem to be having technical difficulties. We'll try and connect with Mohit Bhan in just a bit. Pradeep Datta also continues to stay with us. Pradeep, so there's no response yet from the PDP on what the BJP has said. BJP asking, will you accept a minority in Jammu and Kashmir as the chief minister of the state? In fact, the BJP leaders have asked this very, very pertinent questions. Before I come to you, let's play out a reaction coming in from BJP Shehzad Poonawalla.
That a person of Indian roots has become the Prime Minister of UK, a country which once ruled India for several years. Instead of celebrating that, the Congress party is back to doing what it does best, that is undermine India's image and play the fake Islamophobia narrative wherever possible. Dr. Tharoor, Mr. Chidambaram have questioned whether India respects diversity and would allow a person from the minority community to ascend to the highest positions of power and constitutional positions in this country. But having said that, even the topmost constitutional position of the President of India was held by APJ Abdul Kalam, Fakhruddin Ahmad, Gyani Zail Singh and others, all belonging to the minority community. Because what should matter is not whether you are from a particular ethnic group or minority group, but whether you have the merit to hold these positions or not. And that is why Rishi Sunak has also made it where he has made it.
So, Pradeep, the charge from the BJP is that India is being undermined with the kind of statements that these political leaders have made. But more importantly, the claim that they have made is factually incorrect.
See, I want to make 2 points. One, I think Shashi Tharoor needs to be reminded of his speech which he had given a few years back that is still available on YouTube. What, in fact, Mr. Malviya was also talking about. A Roman Catholic president of the party, Sikh becoming prime minister, taking oath. Abdul Kalam, who is a Muslim, the president. So he was talking about secular culture. How all of a sudden they feel that secular culture and the fabric of composite culture and heterogeneity and pluralism is not existing in India. The reason is that they said this shows their visceral hatred for Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Yes.
Ever since this man has taken over charge, they are trying to malign image of the country. Second, when we talk about PDP's Mehbooba Mufti, she is the one who often keeps on talking about demographic change. If she is so open to the minorities coming over to this place, why they pulled the plug when the Congress and PDP was having a rule during the Amarnath agitation. They were not ready to give the fabricated structure. They were not ready to give a land of the size of matchbox to Hindus for Amarnath pilgrimage.
Okay. So, let's take in a word from the Congress leader Nasir Hussain, who's joining us on the broadcast. Stay on with us, Pradeep. Mr. Nasir Hussain, Congress leaders Mehbooba Mufti believe that with Rishi Sunak becoming the UK Prime Minister, India has some lessons to learn. Have we forgotten our own history, what has happened in the country?
I think let me remind you, Mehbooba Mufti is not a Congress leader.
Yes, but Congress leader Shashi Tharoor and Chidambaram and PDP's Mehbooba Mufti. That's what I said. But okay, if you want to speak about the Congress leaders, P. Chidambaram, Shashi Tharoor, top leaders of your party have also tweeted that India needs to have lessons to be learned from Rishi Sunak becoming the UK Prime Minister.
I think what they try to hint is what is happening in the present. Everyone knows what has happened in the past. India as a country for over centuries have celebrated diversities, have respected diversities, have promoted diversity. The beauty of our country and the strength and unity of our country lies in the vast diversities we have. So we had prime ministers from minority community, we had presidents of India from minority communities, we had chief justices, we had army chiefs from the minority communities. That has been our tradition, convention, and that is what has been followed in our country for centuries. But of late, what is threatened in India is something which I think Mr. Chidambaram and Mr. Shashi Tharoor has been hinting at. Now that diversity is being threatened, that convention, that tradition is being threatened of late. So I think when Rishi Sunak can become the prime minister there, or when Barack Obama can become the president of US, I think that is something which we need to respect. And also we need to respect,
yes, but Shashi Tharoor has said this is something rare in the world. This is his words. I'm quoting from his tweet. He says they have done something very rare in the world. For somebody from India, is it really very rare to see? He has said, as we Indians celebrate, let's honestly ask, can it happen here? That's a question that he has asked, but it has already happened here.
See, that is what he is hinting. He is hinting at the present regime. What is happening in the present regime? How many MPs belonging to minority communities are there in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha from the ruling party? How many tickets do they give to minorities in the ruling party? Of the present developments, the development that have taken place in our country for the past 7-8 years is something which is being questioned. Not the history. History everyone knows.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Okay, all right. Mr. Nasir Hussain, very quickly, the BJP has also said that the Congress party seems to have forgotten Dr. Manmohan Singh as the Prime Minister of the country. All right, let's go across to Pradeep Datta. Pradeep, as you were mentioning, the Congress party as well, just like the PDP, conveniently forgetting what has happened previously. Now, the Congress party defending that statement, saying that we're talking about the present scenario. Very clearly in the tweets that have been put in by the senior Congress leaders, saying, can it ever happen in India? That's a question that they've asked. Similarly, Mehbooba Mufti as well, saying that India has a lot to learn with what's happening in the UK, completely forgetting that India has already done that. We've had minority prime minister, as the president as well, completely forgetting that, not even writing about that in their tweets.
I think the one thing that both the Congress as well as PDP is forgetting, that in democracy it's the people who decide. Leaders are not selected, but leaders are elected, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi became Prime Minister because people voted in large number and he got the majority. And see, election after election, if the Congress is losing, what does that indicate? That people of India had not been happy with the policies of the Congress, so they are finding a change. So that's one of the reasons that they had been electing BJP leaders to power. So if you come out and tomorrow you say what actually the Congress wants, if tomorrow if somebody says yes, Sonia Gandhi should be Prime Minister, I think that's only going to satiate their ego, because they are least concerned about the country, they are least concerned about people, but all they really want that they're somehow by hook or crook they should be in power. That's one of the reasons often we have seen them criticizing this government, maligning image of the country. I think it is not basically that we need to take lessons. I think world needs to take lessons.
Absolutely, world needs to take lessons from India. Pradeep, stay on with us. We have Majid Memon also joining us over the phone line. Mr. Memon, how do you respond to the charge of certain leaders that India has a lot to learn with what's happening in the United Kingdom?
Well, what is happening in United Kingdom, it is according to the majority view of the legislators in the Westminster, and therefore if it happens to be ultimately coming down to an Indian origin person, we should not expect too much from him, because his interest is not going to be promotion of India. His interest is going to be promotion of Great Britain, and he would certainly be working for countering today's recession in UK. We must not pin too much of hope from this man.
That's right. We don't need to pin too much hopes, but is there a need politicians to say that India needs to have lessons? Is it political brownie points being taken just because something is happening in the United Kingdom, forgetting what has happened in India? Because the Congress leaders say that this majoritarian politics that we have in the country has a lot of lessons to take from what's happening in the United Kingdom, where a visible minority is taking over as the UK Prime Minister.
No, I have seen what Mr. Chidambaram has said, and I agree to some extent. What he says is that, you see, world over, the minorities need to be respected. And unfortunately, in India, as far as BJP is concerned, I would put this question in all humility to the Honorable Prime Minister, that look at the biggest minority in India. All have been eliminated one after the other from the house where the laws are made, both from the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, as far as BJP
But sir, have you forgotten that Dr. Abdul Kalam was the president of the country? Have you forgotten that Dr. Manmohan Singh was the prime minister for 10 years?
No, that prior to Modi rule. You see, we are now talking about the current India during the past decade. And now what is happening gradually? Mr. Modi has been claiming Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. We respect that. And when you talk of Sabka Vikas, how do you ignore the biggest minority?
But sir, Draupadi Murmu is also the president of the country, and that's happening now currently.
No, currently, you see, the problem is that I am simply putting a straight question to the present rule headed by the Honorable Prime Minister, that do you have an answer to this fact that the largest minority is wholly eliminated from the august body of Parliament as far as your party is concerned? Name one person who is there in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha representing the largest minority. What is the answer?
Okay, so I just want to give you a response of the BJP. Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad has taken to Twitter and he has reminded the Congress party of Dr. Abdul Kalam as well as Manmohan Singh and now currently Draupadi Murmu as a president. But he has also spoken of the comment that Mehbooba Mufti had made talking of a minority leader, and he has asked a question if she is ready to accept a minority leader as the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. What would you say to that?
No, see, in some parts, now for example, you will take pride of saying that we have appointed a Muslim governor in Kerala. That's no credible thing at all. You have appointed some minority person from Dalits as the President of India. That's not the answer at all. You see, Parliament is a most important body as far as functioning of democracy is concerned, law-making body. Now, simple question that I am asking Ravi Shankar Prasad or anybody who is holding brief for the current government at the center, answer to me that 20 crore Indians are Muslims. You don't have a single man to be lawmaker in Parliament of India in your party.
Okay,
what is the answer for them? Why do you claim Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas if you can't do it?
Okay, but the MPs are elected by the people. Mr. Majid Memon, thank you for joining us. So the politics over it still continuing. Majid Memon asking, what about the MPs? Why no Muslim MPs in the parliament? Pradeep Datta is with us. Pradeep, so the response, of course, the opposition has very, very conveniently ignored the answers to whether a minority would be accepted in the top office in Jammu and Kashmir. There's been no response yet from any of the political leaders who are saying that India needs to learn a lesson, who have completely forgotten what happened before and are saying now the situation has completely changed. No answers on whether this is acceptable, and this is their demand also in Jammu and Kashmir.
India need not learn a lesson from UK, but yes, Congress and the PDP need to learn lesson from their failures. It is because of their failures today they have come to this position that they are not getting seats in any of the states. Reason is the people are right now not voting for them. Reason being because people were not happy with their policy. See, look at Delhi. We had Aurangzeb Marg. So that time the question should have been asked to them, why you wanted to have a Mughal Aurangzeb Marg, the same person who had been imposing jizya, who had been converting Hindus. Why there was no any other Muslim from India whose name you should have kept that mark? What BJP did, they changed the name to instead of Aurangzeb Marg, it is now Abdul Kalam Marg, the missile man, President of India. The country swears by. So I think they have done something good. Already yesterday Prime Minister also spoke about that how they had been able to change that colonial mindset from Rajpath to Kartavya Path. That's what the BJP is doing. But they are not able to digest these good work that the BJP is doing. I think somebody should ask Mehbooba Mufti not to talk of Hindu CM. How many representatives from the Sikh and the Hindu community were either in Mufti Sain's cabinet or in Mehbooba Mufti's cabinet? If today she is really beating for the chest for minorities, she should have translated her votes into action.
We have Ravi Shankar Prasad himself joining us on the broadcast. Pradeep, request you to stay on with us. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. The tweet Mehbooba Mufti getting, a point-by-point rebuttal from you, asking a very, very pertinent question. All right, we'll go back to Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad in just a bit. Let me read out from his tweets. A competent leader of Indian-origin Rishi Sunak is becoming the Prime Minister of UK. We all need to compliment him on this extraordinary success. It is tragic that some Indian politicians are unfortunately trying to make a political brownie point on this occasion. He has also called out Mehbooba Mufti, saying, saw Mehbooba Mufti's tweet commenting on the rights of minorities in India after the elections of Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister of UK. Mehbooba Mufti ji, will you accept a minority in Jammu and Kashmir as the Chief Minister of the state? Please be frank enough to reply. Ravi Shankar Prasad on the phone line with us. Sir, thank you for joining us. Do you expect Mehbooba Mufti to respond? What is it that you want her to say?
No, my question is very straight and simple. Mehbooba ji is raising questions about the right of minorities, okay? Therefore, yes. Let me clarify at the very outset. It is a great day for rejoicing of India and Indians. And a leader, a very competent and able leader of Indian origin has become the Prime Minister of England, Rishi Sunak. And let me take the opportunity of times now to compliment him publicly. Good luck to him. That's how we need to see it. Now, some people are trying to politicize it. Therefore, I am asking a question to Mehbooba ji. Will you allow, Mehbooba ji, I hope you are listening to me. Will you allow a minority leader to become the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, who is not a Muslim, as frank as possible? Let me put you more blunt. Mehbooba ji, will you allow a Gujjar, a Bakarwal to become the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir? They will not. You know their mindset. And I also take the opportunity to raise some questions to my other friends of the Congress party. Let me not name them. Who was APJ Kalam? A very distinguished president of India of the minority community. We are very proud of him. Manmohan Singh, a Sikh, was the Prime Minister for 10 years.
Yes.
And today we are very proud that a very distinguished leader of the tribal community, Draupadi Murmu ji, is the President of India. That is what diversity and inclusive character of India is about, apart from countless others. तो सवाल है कि कुछ लोग को हर चीज पे ही अगर ऑब्जेक्शन करना है तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं उसका। लेकिन ये बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है कि आज जब एक-एक भारतीय ऋषि सुनाक की उपलब्धि पर गर्व कर रहा है, then these types of things are being raised.
Absolutely. Mr. Prasad, Shashi Tharoor has said that the Brits have done something very rare in the world. Being from India, he says that this is something very rare in the world. Also saying, let's honestly ask, can it happen here? So, the question being, has the Congress party forgotten Dr. Manmohan Singh? They have had no answers on Dr. Abdul Kalam as the president of the country, and now Draupadi Murmu as the president of the country.
Obviously, therefore, if you see my second tweet, I mentioned these names. And there are countless others.
Yes.
Mr. Shashi Tharoor, if your reference is to someone from the family becoming the President and Prime Minister, then let me not comment. The people of India are commenting on that. They are rejecting that. तो ये दर्द किस बात का है? That's the point. What hurts you? You want family rule? Indian democracy is very open. And I must tell you, I am very proud of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. He came to power in 2014. Who was the first President of India? Ramnath Kovind ji, a distinguished leader from the Dalit community. Who is the second President of India? Draupadi Murmu ji, a very distinguished leader from the tribal community. What more example you need to have of a very inclusive society? Who is Narendra Modi, for that matter? A leader of the backward community, coming from a deprived community, a chaiwala's son. By his hard work, rising to great heights, elected in 2014, elected in 2019, going to be re-elected in 2024. And the entire country reposes trust in him. Which other leader goes to the border to celebrate Diwali with Jawans like this? He did. Yesterday I became emotional when I saw him singing Vande Mataram with the army Jawans in the chorus. That is what the Prime Minister is about. So if these things irritates the Congress party leaders, we can't. But coming to the larger point, let me repeat again. I compliment Rishi Sunak today. Let us rejoice on his victory. In fact, let me take the opportunity also to congratulate Mr. Narayan Murthy, my good friend. When I was handling the IT portfolio, we used to meet him frequently. Again, a distinguished self-made man took India to great heights, and I'm so happy that his son-in-law, again a self-made person, is becoming the Prime Minister of England. Good luck.
Okay. All right. Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, thank you for joining us on the broadcast. So the BJP has fact-checked the opposition leaders who said that India has lessons to learn from what's happening in the United Kingdom. The political reactions continue. BJP not just fact-checking them, but also asking for a response from Mehbooba Mufti on whether she will accept a minority in the top office in Jammu and Kashmir. Time for a quick break now. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.